start the pod.
All
right.
Alrighty.
All right. 3, 2, 1, start. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another one of my podcaster shows. It's been about 2 months since I've made one here in my apartment because I've been busy with a bunch of other things. Here I'm with my buddy. It's Luke Becker, right? That's your name.
Luke Becker.
Becker, right? Yeah. So yeah, Luke's been my buddy. I think I've had him on my social media accounts for at least probably over a year now. I don't know.
Probably something like that. I think
I've had you on my Instagram, my Snapchat for over like a year, and like it's weird, right? Because we live in a very digital society, right? So if you're just an average guy and you live in a small town, you don't really meet you don't really get exposed to a lot of people. So you go on social media and then you find a dude and he seems cool and you kind of talk to him for a while, and eventually you just kind of hang out in person, and then we've agreed to do a podcast and we're gonna go lift after that. So Luke, I know I just met you in person. I guess give the pod and give me a bit of an explanation about what you are, where you are, what a bit of your story is, if you want to go ahead.
My name is Luke Becker. I'm 20 years old. I aspire to be a bodybuilder. I've been day trading for close to a year. I dropped out of college. My goal is to have my full-time income be day trading, and I've been working on that for a while. Did about 2 hours of studying today. Just wake up, look at the market. I'm going to get a funded account soon. About it. Just pretty locked in with lifting and trading and working a job until that works out.
Cool, bro. Cool, bro. I mean, you got the classic young guy setup. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, shoot. I mean, I guess I'll kind of explain a little bit. I mean, this is my channel. I'll tell Luke a little bit. Yeah, my name is Chase Parker. I'm 20 years old. I'm a junior here at the University of North Carolina. I do a bunch of different things. I kind of have an e-commerce brand that I'm working on. I go to school full time. I'm trying to be a content creator. And I have an agency that I'm starting up. I've told him a little bit about it. And I don't know. Tell me a little bit about day trading, because I'm interested in knowing it, because because there are these things called algorithmic trading, right? Because a lot of I'm sure you know this, when you trade stuff, a lot of people that you're competing with, they're not actual traders, they're robots, right?
I'm sure that is. I don't know a whole lot about algorithmic trading. I'm just going to talk like this is a normal conversation, because I see that on a lot of podcasts and it feels a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of stuff about algorithmic trading. I've never looked into it myself. Most of it is from you. I looked into it a little bit. But I think a lot of the dudes you are trading against are real people. And my dad told me this, when I first told my family that I wanted to pursue day trading full time. My dad was like, 97% of traders quit before they make any money, or 97% of traders, he didn't phrase it like that. He said 97% of traders lose money. And I was like, great thing. I was like, that's dumb, because 99% of traders fucking quit because it's hard. It's difficult. You lose money in the beginning before you know what you're doing, especially if you just jump in and you just try to rip a funded account immediately. And honestly, it's set up so that these hedge funds and what are they called? Prop firms. Prop firms are the companies that lend out funded accounts.
Yeah.
And the prop firms have an incentive to take advantage of unexperienced traders. Just like if you're
don't you have to pay fees up front to even qualify? How much does it even cost?
I think a $50K funded account, depending on where you're getting it from, be about $100 to start a challenge.
That's not bad at all.
It's really not that bad. Yeah,
it's not bad, but so say if you pay me $100 and you do pass the challenge, right? When you're trading with their $50K, right?
Yeah.
Do they have a stop loss on it? You're only allowed to lose X percent before you take your account?
You're on a $50K, I believe it's the total loss limit is $2,000. $100,000 funded, it's $3,000 or $4,000. It depends on the one you get it from.
Yeah, but the thing is this is kind of how I would expect it to work. So if they give you a $50,000 account and they know that you can lose $2,000 of their own money, and you pay $100 to even qualify to get it, then the only way they could really break even on it is if for every 20 people that even try the challenge, one would get the account, so they make the $2,000 back anyway. Is that kind of how it works? Or
honestly, I haven't thought too deeply into that, but I do know that it's close to 3% of people who attempt a funded account or people who try to pass it, only about 3% actually succeed and actually trade with it. It's because most people give up. Like most people will go at it.
So,
and
so
they'll
you're
try
saying
it.
like 97% of the people that actually apply for the challenge just don't even get an account.
Yeah. Most people give up if something's really hard, and if you have a whole other life, like you got a family and you got a job,
it gets difficult.
and you might just give up. But the only way to succeed is to just keep fucking trying no matter what. And like the principles of success are the same anywhere. So as long as you apply yourself, as long as you're dedicated enough. And I've done things where I've given up, and I've been in that like 97% of people who don't continue forward. And so you really just have to commit yourself, and just every time you fail, just don't take that as a beating. Don't feel like that's a sign that you can't do it. That's a data point to where you need to improve, and a signal to what you need to do better. So you got to reflect. You have to look back on your failures.
What are you doing to become better at trading to like beat the 97%?
I'm not giving up, one, but also just studying the concepts I use, back testing, journaling. Journaling is really important.
What is back testing? Is like, can you explain that a little bit?
So there's back testing, there's forward testing.
Yeah.
Back testing is testing your strategy against previous past market data. So previous day, previous week, whatever, just market data that happened previously. And then forward testing is live testing against the actual market. And none of it's with real money. You're just using.
You're using like paper trading?
Yeah, it's paper trading.
Well, how's your back testing and forward testing gone so far using like the paper trading or like bank account?
I did three real, what are they called? 3 sample tests, we'll call them. I had a 65% win rate. Essentially, yeah.
65%?
Sample sizes, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty good. I was pretty hyped. Because the dudes who I got and it was totally free, which is super dope. Because in like really any niche you'll see online, whether it's like fitness or, I don't know, sales closing, trading, e-commerce, whatever it is, you'll see grifters out there. And if you don't know much about it, like V-Shred is a really great example in fitness, where you don't know much about fitness, you don't know much about losing weight, maybe you know a little bit, or maybe you've just never touched it all. Say you're like fat, you're obese, and you want to lose weight, you don't want to be fat anymore, and you see this dude being super vague and telling you like, here are three foods to boost your test and help with fat loss. And then
sounds so dumb.
Yeah, it's retarded, yeah. And he just he just jumps around the subject and doesn't really tell you, and it's just super vague, and then throws you down his funnel and is like, yo, here, like, click this link, come watch this video, and then the video takes you to. There are dudes like that in really every niche. I totally forgot what the topic was about. We were talking about
trading.
Talking about trading, and then where did we get to after that?
I was asking about like, how's your testing going?
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah. Are you neurodivergent, bro?
Yes, I am severely.
Right, try to calm your mind down. Pretend like you're just talking to me. Forget the camera's there. Like, just take a deep breath. No, because it's just like, all right.
I lost the train of thought. But we were talking about V-Shred, we were talking about trading.
Man,
but there are dudes who will.
Dude,
I was talking about trading, and I was talking about niches, and I was talking about grifters, and dudes who, they're grifters because they're trying to sell you a course, and they're trying to sell you products that won't really get you great results. If they have coaching and they actually know what they're doing, you can get results. But the reality is that you don't truly need somebody else to teach you what to do unless you're weak-minded, honestly, because you can figure it out for yourself. There's YouTube. This is what I was talking about. The dudes who I learned the trading strategy from, they have one-on-one coaching. They have a mentorship program. But they also put all their information out on YouTube. So the information for learning how to trade, it's all totally free. You don't need to buy anybody's course. You don't need to learn from anybody if you don't want to, because it's all out there for free and you can get it for free.
So you making any money with it currently?
Well, because I haven't got any funded accounts yet, no. But in back testing, we made probably maybe like $5,000 so far.
Like paper trading?
Yeah.
Like, what balance was that using?
I was doing 100K.
So like 5% gain.
Yeah.
And how long? What time is that?
Probably about a month.
Yeah, I mean that's good. Assuming you didn't have like a big drawdown on it.
No.
I mean, I think a rule is like if you're a trader, you can average like 1% a week. That's like really, really good.
1% a week.
Yeah, that's like 50. That's like 52% a year.
I suppose if you take all your, because you can have multiple funded accounts. You could have like 10, 20, 30 funded accounts, and you can copy trade all of them. That's how traders who use funded accounts make a lot of money, is they just start amassing funded accounts. So the dudes who I learned from, one of them has
So you amass funded accounts.
And you copy trade
You're
all
not responsible for the losses.
Nope. Except, for if you lose.
Yeah, but I mean, as long as you pass the challenges,
yes,
and they give you money.
It's free money.
I might have to look into that.
Yeah, you get like 30 of them. It might take you maybe close, depending on how you pass them, because there's some cheese strategies for passing them where you can like full port news if you're just getting you're trying to pass your funded accounts quick, and you set I won't really go into it, but you get it so no matter which way price goes, as long as it doesn't wick out, because usually in CPI news, which is the news you're full porting, you'll just get this giant candle that it shoots up or just nukes down, and you set the limit orders, and as long as it doesn't wick out, which it usually doesn't, you can pass the whole account possibly right there all in one trade. And so you just get 30 accounts. Let's say you get 30 100K evals, you pass all of them.
$3 million.
Yeah.
Leverage trade.
Yeah, exactly. And let's say you're risking you can risk $1,000 a trade, because then at that point you'd need to lose 4 trades in a row to lose all your accounts, and that'd be probably across 4 days. Because if you win,
all right. Wait. So you said if you got
30
100 grand accounts, you'd have $3 million.
Yeah, and
so you would lose 4. It doesn't make sense. $4,000.
Because the 4,000 is the loss limit for the $100,000 funded account. So if you lose
4,000 times 30 would be what you would be allowed to lose.
Yeah, but you're really just thinking of it on a scale of one account.
Oh, because you're copy trading all the accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you need to lose 4 trades in a row. But anyway, let's say you win a trade, you make $1,000 across all 30 accounts. One trade, that's $30K. That's sick. It's just so profitable. It's insane. And obviously, you won't have a 100% win rate because nobody does. But if you come out to even just 2 trades in the, let's say you take a total of 5 trades and you win 3 and you lose 2, that'd be 1 trade. That's still $30K in 1 week. Or you win 3 or you win 4 and you lose 1. You just made what? You just made $90K in 1 week just off 3 trades. You're just clicking buttons. You're just looking at the screen. And so it's super profitable once you get there.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. So, I mean, theoretically, if your analysis is correct and you're able to get in the 3% of people that are giving this free money, and you're somehow not responsible for the losses, and you can make money on the money, right? Then, yeah, I guess it could work. But I mean, the most difficult part is how do you get into... So you're saying out of 100 people that try it, 3% are actually going to get funded accounts.
Yeah.
Right? And that 3% is probably the amount of people that can get 1 funded account. So you're trying to do that times 30.
Once you've done it, you can just keep doing it again. Because when you blow an account, they give you the option to pay money to get it back. And usually when you blow it, they give you a discount.
So if you lose the money they give you, do you pay back the money that you lost?
No.
If you keep blowing accounts, why would they keep giving you more accounts?
I don't really know how it works. I haven't looked into it.
Why are you talking about it?
I know how to make money from it. I just don't know exactly how it works.
Well, I hope it works out for you.
Thank you.
Truthfully, I don't really understand it, but it sounds really too good to be true. But if it works out,
it's real, yeah. I'll give you an example of a buddy I had where he had been learning from TJR for close to, I think he'd been learning for about 6 months. I don't learn from TJR. I've watched like 1 or 2 of his bootcamp videos, and his strategy is very different from the one I've used. But my buddy had been learning from him for about 6 months. He got his first funded account, and I believe he blew it. And then right after he blew it, he just gave up completely, and he just totally left it in the dust. And that's an example of the 97% of people who would just totally give up. As long as you just keep going, you keep learning from your mistakes, you can pass it. You will pass it. Yeah.
Good analogy. I mean, you sound kind of like a gambler there. I'm gonna be honest with you. So you continuously lose more money than you go into it. I mean, I don't know. It kind of sounds like a
It's
gamble.
the cost of learning. But trading and gambling are actually very similar. The only difference is in trading you have, well, they're similar in they're both they're both about probabilities. So in gambling, the casino has to make money, right? So the casino has a certain percent of an edge over you. So let's say it's like 4%. Out of every 100 hands you play, you will win 44 and the casino will, or you'll win what? The casino will win 54, you'll win 46.
Yeah.
And so the casino has to have edge over the people playing to make money. And so in the same way that the casino has an edge, you have your edge, and that's your strategy. And so let's say my strategy has a 65 to 70% win rate. That means I have a 25 to 30% edge over, suppose I have a 65% win rate, which means 6.5 trades out of 10 I'll win, or 65 trades out of 100 I'll win. And so as long as you have that winning probability, that winning statistic on your side, you're guaranteed to make money.
Yeah, I mean, if your average win is equal to your average loss, then
Well, yeah, you have to. That's part of you have to set rules for yourself, and part of that is understanding your risk.
Well, how long? Because you seem to talk. How long have you been like taking this seriously? Like you've genuinely like, yeah, like I want to trade or whatever.
About a year. Yeah.
So you started a year ago, and you still haven't got a funder account yet?
No, I haven't. I mean, a lot of people dudes will talk about it'll take them like 3 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's a learning process for sure. Because dudes will blow accounts all the time. You just got to keep getting them back, or just learn from what you're doing wrong. I'm definitely on more the medium part of the journey. I'm not all the way there. Still a lot to learn. Tell me more about yourself, though. You haven't talk about e-commerce. Talk about whatever else you got going on, because I don't know a lot.
I mean, I don't know. I'm going back to the trading thing. It's just like, I mean, I hope it works out for you. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like it gets to a point where like, wouldn't you want to just like put all your time into, like learning an income source and then just, like finding other people to do the investment stuff for you? I mean, I don't know. That just sounds like a much better use of time.
I wouldn't say so, because like, let's say you're in that position where you have 30 accounts. All you do is just wake up and you look at the market about 30 minutes to an hour before it opens, and you're handling it all yourself. It's like, yeah, you can trust a broker or an investor to do it for you, but that's different than trading with other people's money every day. And as long as you have that statistic on your side, you will be making money.
Yeah, I mean, the thing's interesting about it, because the only funded account I had is what it was. It was like they gave you like 5 times leverage on the money that you deposited. Yeah. So if you put in like 10 grand, they would give you a 50 grand account.
Yeah.
So, but you're still responsible for the 10 grand that you put in.
Right. That was a Forex account, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you're saying with these funded accounts, you're literally not responsible for any of the losses. It's just the pain to getting the money. Yeah. It's like having to learn all of it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could work for you. I really don't know a lot about it. But I mean, keep doing your thing, bro. I mean, maybe you'll get rich off of it. Yeah, bro.
That's the goal. I mean, I dropped out. If it doesn't work out, but like that's the thing is, as long as you just keep hammering away, as long as you don't give up, it's gonna work out eventually.
You ever thought about like making content about it?
I have, yeah. I mean, I could make content about learning, like my journey to becoming profitable. It's the same as a smaller dude making gym content. His journey to getting big. As long as you don't take it to just a stupid level, like all the science-based lifting dudes who are just kind of going against the grain of what people usually think, and it's
weird.
You just end up looking silly. So as long as you don't make it like that, because you don't want to start teaching about something you don't fully have a grasp on.
So what were you going to college for before you dropped out?
In the beginning, I was a med major, and then I was like, I did not want to do that. Yeah, and I switched over to, I believe, undecided, and then near the end, I was marketing, which is totally useful. You can do stuff with marketing. There's places to go to with marketing. But I had been trading for close to a year at that point, and I was like, you know what? I would rather make this work because this is actually what I want to do. And so I dropped out.
So I guess so you say you work a job. So I'm just like, are you implementing any of the money that you currently have saved into like trading accounts?
No. Once I get, I mean, I will once I get a funded account. I just gotta.
I mean, I don't know. Just like
yeah.
I would just think like if you were confident in it, you would like want to put your own money into it.
What do you mean? Oh, well, are you talking about trading with my own money?
Yeah.
Well, it'd just be such a small return because, like, let's say I have $100, you don't want to trade with the whole $100 in one trade.
Yeah.
Well,
it's kind of,
I mean, you could, but if you lose,
it's like Robinhood
then you lose it
Webull,
all.
you can get up to like 4x leverage, 4 times.
Really? Well, okay, well, I've done that. I've traded with my own money before. Like I had this one. I would trade on Axiom, like the meme coin trading platform, but I would do their futures section. So I'd be like throwing longs and shorts on Bitcoin. I was doing that when I was still learning. And looking back, it's pretty funny because like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, I really didn't have the greatest strategy. I was just like looking at stuff and taking. Like, I made like $500 off this one. I believe it was a long on this coin called Hype, and that was on. Hype is essentially it's just a stock in crypto form for this trading platform called Hyperliquid. And I was trading at that point. I was trading on the Hyperliquid trading platform, and I still have an account on there. It's pretty cool because I had to get like a VPN and shit to set it up because it's not legal in the U.S. But anyway, I had that. And I was trading. I probably had like $800 in there, and I made like 500 at one point. That was pretty dope. But
what happened to that?
I spent it, and then I hacked the account on I think I had a short on XRP, and this was like right after like Barron Trump entered the market with $2 billion, and just I was at like work. That would have been the craziest fucking trade because I was on XRP, and it was at, I believe it was around $2.80, and when he shorted whatever he shorted, because all the cryptos are sort of correlated where they all follow Bitcoin. Whichever one he shorted, XRP nuked for like 87% down into the red, and it dipped down to like it did down to like 50 cents or like 60, something like that. It was crazy low from where it was at least, and then it whipped and it just shot all the way back up. But I got halved in a short after that. But I didn't really. I was just like throwing money at stuff as a college kid, trying to like pay for protein and energy drinks.
So basically, you're saying when you're broke and you try to buy Bitcoin or you try to trade Bitcoin or whatever, and you lose the money or you make the money, it's not even worth it. But if I could get money, that's not mine, or I could steal money, and trade with it, and I lose it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because if you're playing with $800,
so maybe if I do Somalian daycare fraud,
ooh, okay,
and I get $1 billion, and I gamble with all of it, even if I make a little bit of money on the money that's not mine, I'm still profitable.
If you steal $1 billion, that's just all.
I mean, yeah, I mean, dude, it makes sense. I hope it works out for you.
Thank you,
dude. If you happen to get it work, let me know, bro.
Yeah, bro, I'll hit you up. I'll show you the P&L ski.
You were going to Appalachian State University. Was that? So that's in the mountains. What was it like living out there in the mountains, bro?
That's super cold, dude. It's like the number one. That school is the highest proportion of lesbians. There's so many lesbians. There's so many gay people there, bro. Like at one point, I saw this guy like walking down the main street, streaming on Kick. Like I see the
streaming on Kick.
Yes, bro. Like the Kick chat on his phone. He's got like his buddy filming. Like, what the fuck are you doing in Boom, bro? Because like you're just like walking down, and like, oh, that guy's gay. Whoa, there's another gay dude. Like, why is everyone gay? Like, what the fuck? There's just, they're chill. Like it's really not a big deal. But
no,
it's cool.
I'm sure it gets really cold there in the winter, bro.
Dude, yeah. I lived at this apartment complex at the top of this really long hill, and a couple of times, like when the snow got really bad, I'd be driving down. I'd just be like, probably 10 cars at one point were all just like stuck on various sides of the road. Just people couldn't make it up and shit. This one dude's car was like tilted, like literally leaning halfway off the ground, like on this hill, just like in the dirt. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be really nice, like during the summer. I heard it's like a big party town. Right, there's a lot of parties.
Yeah,
house parties. I hear
most colleges have parties. Shocked if there was a college that didn't. But I wouldn't say it's a party school. I'd say ECU is more of a party school, or maybe Wilmington, or Tennessee. Yeah. I think there's some freaky stuff over there, though.
So I got your story. So you're going to university, and now you're trying to be a day trader.
Yep.
You got any other hustles, any other projects you work on?
I got some stuff that's like I've really taken off with it. I did a little bit of e-commerce when I was about 18, and then like I
What'd
said
you do with
earlier,
them?
I was Shopify, and I was like sourcing shit from Alibaba and just trying to sell it, and then I kind of dropped it. But I got like the basics.
Can't give up, man. You can't.
I
give
know,
up
I
100%.
know, bro.
Come on, dude.
Yeah, but that's why I'm not going to give up on trading, because I know if I didn't give up on e-commerce, maybe I'd have a big ass e-commerce store going right now. But I can't know because I gave up. So I will not give up on trading. But I was seeing there's Chinese wholesalers like peptides, like nicotine, just whatever. Like you can source a ton of stuff from China. And I was talking to this one lady who
Bro's gonna start a store drop shipping peptides from China,
No,
bro. I
I-
feel like there would be so many legal problems with that.
so many people do that, bro. Almost all the peptides come from China, and people just blind ship them in and like slap their label on it. Almost all the peptides come from China. Like this dude I was watching.
That's why all this fitness stuff is weird. Like all this look smashing, bone smashing, like peptide is weird. Like it's really weird. And in my opinion, it's just homo. Like it's just
Why?
weird. Like I don't know. Like dudes are just like,
Do you don't want to look your best?
no, it's not even that. But I feel like I don't even want to call people out individually. Like that clavicular guy, right? Like everyone knows him. He blew up because he has this clipping system. I know exactly what he does. But he's just like, yeah, like he's like bone smashing, peptides, and that's cool. But I feel like dudes are like 14, 15 years old. That like they're really like they start getting into the gym for the first time. Like they see stuff like that, and they like genuinely like listen to it. And it's just like no, like it's literally just about like being in a calorie deficit and training.
That's most of it,
That's
yeah.
like 99% of it, and just being like a confident social person. And like I don't know, like all the extra stuff is just kind of stupid.
There's really a threshold for looks. As long as you look good enough and you're sociable and confident, you're chill.
Dudes who like PSL score, like what is it? Something about like ASU frat leader mogging. Like why is like I've seen this stuff and I'm like, why is this viral? Like why is this popular?
Because of the clipping stuff you were talking about earlier. It's also just funny to fucking look at. But a lot of those dudes get surgery, especially like androgenic or nocturnal Ken.
What is Andrew? I saw a meme about that. What's Andrew?
Androgenic? He's this, I think he's Australian, and he's this Australian looks Mexican guy. He's got like these huge zygotes, and he's all about taking roids and like using pharmaceuticals to change the bone structure of your face and grow your frame or whatever.
And these dudes probably have like millions of followers.
Well, yeah, they definitely.
And they probably make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just homo.
You think?
Yeah, I mean it's
I don't
kind of
think so,
weird.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's kind of homo. It's pretty homo. It's kind of gay.
Why? Just because you're focused on yourself, or because you're just looking at dudes all the time?
I mean, I don't know. It's just like when you think of, like any masculine dude ever, like when you think of like Elon Musk or like Trump, or you think of like any famous dictator in history that was like actually conquering the world or like tried to become a billionaire, like all these dudes that, like had a bunch of wives and were like respected. Like, do you think these dudes were like waking up and like injecting their peptides and thinking about like bone surgery? Like, no, like they were like, this is weird.
They were
Like, and that's kind of the way I think. It's like, this is weird.
It's peptides and all that stuff probably make up for about maybe 10% of the total productivity that you can have. So it's definitely not the number one thing.
I don't even know what peptides are. Like, what are they?
They're amino acid chains.
And what if they restructure your face?
No, not really. A lot of that's coke. I think
like, what does
depending
it
on how
do?
old you are. Well, there's a lot of them. Like they do different stuff. Like there's GHCKU is the copper peptide. It makes your skin tighter. It makes your skin better. You know, it's good for your
Dude,
overall.
there's gonna be like so many people just taking random peptides and they're gonna get septic.
They're
gonna die.
Septic is blood poisoning, right?
Sepsis is it's sickness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just getting sick.
There was that dude Logan Dishman on Instagram, and he's this like 17-year-old roid head kid. That's like you were saying earlier, like all these younger kids are getting into roids and stuff, which is cool on one hand, but you definitely don't need
Well,
it depends on how you think about it. Obviously, the younger you are, the less developed your brain is, so you're not going to probably make the best decisions. And if you haven't finished puberty yet, taking roids is pretty stupid because you might stunt your growth. You don't know how tall you could possibly be, and if you're taking tests, you're going to close your growth plates. You might shut down your nuts forever, and you're like 17.
it's pretty crazy.
And then yeah,
Well, no, the thing is, just in my personal experience, like I don't know. I mean, this is more of a societal issue. Like a lot of girls now, like they're really left wing, like they're really feminist, and a lot of them are on birth control. So like a lot of like modern women, like 18 to 25, like they look at a guy that that goes to the gym, like is into that, really looks like you could objectively like look at a guy like, oh yeah, like he's buff, like he takes himself seriously, and like you'd be surprised, like a lot of women will like honestly be turned off by that guy.
you think?
Yeah, like dude, like a lot of young girls are just like really into like skinny feminine guys. Like I don't know, like a dude, like it even frustrated me. Like there are like a lot of girls in particular, because like society in particular, especially like the last few years, like you're pushed this narrative of like masculinity is bad. Like like Andrew Tate and all these masculine influencers are bad. Like you're taught like oh yeah, like the news said he's a human trafficker. There's no evidence of it, but the news said it. He's a masculine man and he's bad, so it must be true. And like they look at the skinny feminine guy, and a lot of them are on birth control, and that's a lot of thing with women in particular, because I haven't really talked about myself or like what I do, but it's like I don't know, like well anyway, I go to university and I work as a paramedic, and I've been doing medical jobs for the past like 3 or 4 years ever since I've been in high school, and I'm going to apply to medical school, and I've done research jobs and whatnot. Like I'm very serious about this medical career, so that's why like I've studied like actual things, and I understand this like a lot more than most people do. So when I just see like dudes that like are injecting like random peptides into them, I'm just like dude, this is some chemical that was made in China for 2 cents. Like, why are you putting that into your body? And the thing about it is, in particular, it's and dude, like you can even look into this. Like when girls take birth control, right? And like a lot of girls, like like they said, they're on birth control. They're really into the feminist narrative. Like when they see like a really masculine guy, like if they're on birth control, like they're actually less attracted to that guy than the really like skinny, like feminine, like TikTok dance, like the TikTok boy. And here I'd sound stupid because like I've been in situations in my life like I tried to be that guy, like I went to the gym, like I lifted, like I did everything right. And if you are that guy, like a lot of modern women, like they won't have anything to do with you. Like 18 to 25, and then they'll start dating a guy that's like really skinny, that's like really insecure, and like you would objectively look at a guy and be like, yeah, like he's skinny, like he's kind of weird, like I wouldn't want to talk to him. But most women will look at that guy, like the skinny, modern, like TikTok boy, and they're like, oh my god, like I want to date him, right? And I didn't really understand that when I was younger, because kind of like what you said, like when I was like 17 years old, like I tried to go to the gym every day, and I was like, why would a girl like want to date a guy that is like really skinny and feminine and insecure? And it's just like I get it, like when you see this in particular, like when they get off the birth control, they want to date like more masculine guys. But like when they're younger and like they're not really concerned with that stuff, like they want to date like the really skinny feminine guys, because like to her, he's like social, he's fun. And what I've really learned, it's like I feel like a lot of guys like get into this whole looks maxing, like self-improvement stuff, because like they want girls to like them, right? But it's like weird, because what I've actually found is like a lot of guys in particular will be like, oh, I'm broke, I can't get a girl. And I'll be like, dude, like if you're broke, like that's actually probably like one of the best times to date, because it's just like, I'll tell you, there's a misconception. I'll give a bunch of games like a lot of young guys. Like there's a misconception like girls are attracted to money, and it's not even necessarily that. It's just literally women in particular are attracted to fun and attention. Like that's just a general rule of thumb. Fun and attention. Like it doesn't matter if you're broke or you have $0. And that's why a lot of guys that have a lot of money are able to, have a lot of girls attracted to them. Because it's not even necessarily like the money they're attracted to. It's like the guys that have a lot of money, like they can do like spontaneous things. You can buy her stuff, you have the cool cars, you can provide her like with the Instagram like trips. It's not even the money that she's attracted to. It's the fun and attention. Yeah. So a lot of guys, I feel like they go down this rabbit hole of like self-improvement. Like they look at this looks maxing stuff. and like they think like, oh yeah, like, that's what's gonna make me happy, and then it's just like no, like a lot of modern women are just gonna think you're weird, and then like and like that's just the brutal reality of it. And maybe perhaps like I'm a bit older than most of these guys, and I understand it a little bit different. But like a lot of these guys, they're just like bro, like I'm like I don't know. It's like I need to get like a lot of these guys like yeah, I need to get my money up. I need to get in shape. I need to bone smash and look smash. It's just like bro, like it's not really gonna make any difference. Like they do not care. Like if you're just a dude and you're spontaneous, you look like you have interesting stuff going on in your life. For example, that's why I'm doing this podcast. Like, I'm gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna post it, and they might not even get like any views. But it's gonna go on my social media pages. People are gonna be like, "Wow, like, this is a guy like he does podcasts. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing that." Like you can get curious about this guy, right? Like it's about invoking the curiosity, right? But it's just like, I don't know. The whole looks back thing to me is just like, it's like kind of dumb, bro. Like, bro, dating is so hard. It's difficult for young guys. If you literally look at the statistics, it's like 2/3 of women age 18 to 25 are in relationships, or they're talking to a guy. They're considered taken. Yeah, it's about 2/3. But 1/3 of men age 18 to 25 are in relationships, right? So you literally have 2/3 of guys 18 and 25 that are single for 1/3 of women that are considered single. And this even goes back to the 80-20 rule, right? So you have literally, like 80% of women, right, attracted 20% of guys, which I don't know if it's that, but I would genuinely like to believe that's probably true.
It's pretty doubting, but yeah.
Yeah, you've heard the 80-20 rule. It's just like
hypergamy chart.
Yeah, the hypergamy chart. It's definitely real because like it's like I feel like, dude, like now in America, if you're a guy and you're over the age of 20 years old, or you're like under 30, right? Like you need to be making $10K a month, like at minimum, to even have a decent life. And like that's the brutal reality of it. Like I don't mean to sound like a Debbie down here, because if you literally look into like an income chart, like $100,000 a year is like a top 1% income worldwide. Like worldwide, $100,000 a year, top 1% income. In America, it's like top 10% for all age groups. If you're a guy under 25, it's like, I don't know, probably top 5% income group. And that's why, like when you say earlier, I know you were talking about like your trading stuff and like how you're learning and you're going to be consistent with it. But that's kind of why I was like earlier. It's just like I was like, I don't know. Like, are you really like set on really going down a rabbit hole for 5 years on something that might not even be a problem? Like I'm not saying it might not work out for you. I'm just saying like for a lot of guys, I don't think that would be a good game plan. Because I look at it like this: like if you're a young guy, like say 25 years old, like 10 grand a month. If you want to basically pay your rent, have a nice car on finance, that's like 2 grand a month. If you want to, even be able to like afford to have one girlfriend, like forget, like for bro, think about, like I think about it like this, like you have 1/3 of men that are in relationships and 2/3 of women are in relationships. So obviously like women, they date up because there is the hypergamy chart. So, they'll date guys that are older. Like I even remembered when I was 18, because I was 18, I was a freshman in university. And I remember I was talking to this girl. I had a bit of a crush on her. This was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And she was 19. Because, that's just how it works. Like I was like one of the younger ones in my school. So I'm 18. There's a girl that's like also a freshman. She's the same year as me, but she's 19. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I didn't look into it recently, but I think a couple months ago, I looked into it. I don't know. I just like saw her Instagram page, and she's like 21. And she's dating a guy that's like 25.
Yeah.
Right? And like, so it's like, you got to think about it. At the time, you're 18 years old. You're trying to date 19-year-old women or girls that are talking to guys at the time are 24.
Or 30, yeah.
And I'm 20 years old. And I'm 20 years old. My income is like what? Like I make about 2 grand a week between all my income sources, and I go to school full time. And I have about 6 figures, like net worth, between all my savings and whatnot. And it's like I'm 20 years old, right? So theoretically, it's completely socially acceptable for me to date an 18-year-old. Like no one's going to look at it as weird. Like if I'm a junior in university, I'm 20 years old, I'm about to be 21. Like if I were to date a girl that's a freshman that was 18, like it wouldn't be weird. But you got to understand, like there are guys that are even 16, 17 years old that are trying to date girls that are 18, and you're 21, and like 16-year-old me can't compete with 21-year-old me. 16-year-old me, like he literally had to ask his mom to literally drive the car. He worked at Chick-fil-A. He had like less than 10 grand in his bank account. It's just like you can't compete. So if you're a young guy, like 2/3 like of women are in relationships, and like let's be honest, like some of these guys are dating 2 to 3 girls at once.
Yeah.
Like they're dating 2 to 3 girls at once. So it's like literally you have probably 60-70% of the male population that are single,
Right.
and you have like 60 to 70% of the female population that are in relationships that probably come from like 20% of guys, and some of those are talking to 2 or 3 girls at once, and to him they're just 3 girlfriends. But like to each and every single one of them, like, they're loyal to only him because they don't want to be seen as like a whore or whatever.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the world is getting extremely difficult. So it's like if you want to be a guy, like you want to have your own place, you want to have a nice car on finance, you want to be able to afford to go out with like male friends, or even have like a girl, and like be able to afford like that life, and have enough money to pay your own bills, buy food and gas, still have like a little bit of money at the end of the month to even save, and pay your 20-30% tax. You need to literally be making 10 grand a month minimum to have not even like a king lifestyle, like a decent lifestyle. So I mean, I don't know. That's like when I hear all these hustles about these like I don't know, the trading stuff. Like I feel like if you were already making 10 grand a month and then you were messing around with trading, then it will make more sense. But I mean, if you're just like, I don't really have an income and I'm trying trading when I don't already have any money, that's why I feel like I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
I see what you're saying, but as long as you have like a job, it depends on your situation. Like if you live on your own, you need to work like 60-70 hours a week to support yourself.
That's about what I do.
Yeah,
work all the time.
of course. Yeah, that's totally different. My situation is I'm a lot more, blessed to have a family, but my situation is just totally different from like yours, where you're working 60-70 hours a week. But all you have to do is just know what you're doing and just put in time every day to studying it. And a funded account really isn't that much money, so you just set aside like $100, $200. And
yeah,
obviously there are people who are working like a full-time job, and I've watched plenty of videos. I've heard dudes talk about like if that's the situation you're in, you have to save up. Like you shouldn't. Like let's say, you can make like $2 grand a month trading. You're at that point. You're at that beginner level of making money. You don't want to just quit your job at that point because that'd just be stupid. You want to save up maybe like 20, 30, 40K as sort of a cushion to sit on, to live off of until you can take your trading to that next level, or just keep working your job until you can take it to that next level where you just don't need to work your job at all. But that's why I dropped out, because I was like, well, I'm 20 years old. I don't have a lot of risk. I don't have a family. I don't have a mortgage. I don't have all the stuff that would hold me down. And so this is the prime age for me to give my all to something that
is
could
true.
change my life, which is why I dropped out, because I don't have all the responsibilities.
Sleepless nights, grind season.
Yeah.
Truthfully, that's why I push myself really hard.
Tell me about how you started out with business. How did you find e-commerce? What did you start out doing?
When I was 15 years old, I started dropshipping on eBay. My dad's eBay account, I got banned. But it was like my dad's eBay account.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, I know you said you tried Shopify dropshipping. And the thing is about e-commerce, right? Let's separate dropshipping and e-commerce from like an actual like logistics company, because there's so many different webs to this. A lot of guys don't even understand. So a lot of people, they'll try dropshipping. They'll create like a crappy website, and they'll be like, buy my product. It's like, bro, no one's gonna buy your product. Like, it's a crappy website. Like, no one cares. It looks weird. But, if you start selling on a third-party platform like eBay or Amazon or Mercari or Facebook Marketplace, these platforms are bringing the buyers to you. So it becomes a lot easier to make sales if you're a beginner. So say, for example, this couch is on Amazon for $200. You can just copy and paste the listing and the description, post on eBay for $300. So every time you make a sale on eBay, the customer pays you. You get their name and address. You literally go to Amazon. You send it straight to them.
Right.
And that's like retail dropshipping. And obviously, it's correlated directly how many items that you list. But it's kind of time efficient. Because I'm gonna be honest, if you list 100 items, maybe one of them might sell. So theoretically, yeah, if you could put up a store that has 100,000 listings on it and you sell 1,000 items every single month, and each sale you make $10 profit, yeah, you can make 10 grand a month doing retail dropshipping easily. But do you know how much time and effort it would take for me sitting behind my computer to list 1,000 items? Like it would probably, be a full-time job for, like maybe 2 or 3 years worth of work to actually list 100,000 items. Like it would take forever. So, you can't really do it manually. You need to be outsourcing this. So what I do personally, there's a website called onlinejobs.ph, and you can hire a virtual assistant to basically do this for you, which makes it a lot more time efficient. So I have 2 guys in the Philippines that work for me right now. And I've been taking it really seriously for about the past year. Like my eBay store has about 10,000 listings, and I'm about at a point where it's my eBay store will get 200 sales a month. So every single day, I get 10 orders on my eBay account, and each one is for $10, $12 profit. So it's all right, I have this, cool little income source making $100 a day. And it's not passive at all because, you still have to fulfill the orders, there's customer support. There's a whole bunch of logistics stuff. You have to upload track numbers. You got to make sure you pay your VAs. You make sure they're doing supposed to. There's a lot more that goes into it than what you think. But that's like retail drop shipping, which is a lot what most people do. And then obviously when you create your own Shopify store, right, then you're basically just doing that. But there's more ads involved.
Yeah.
Because you're just bringing the platform, right? So, but I mean, I don't know, because what I'm thinking about is all right, because when people buy from you on eBay, they give you their phone number. So I'm saying all right, do I literally just spend all day, every day, just cold calling all people that buy from me on eBay and just be like, hey, this is my name, this is what I do. You can buy from my Shopify store, and then obviously it helps me because there's no 10% payment processor fee like there is on eBay. And that's retail drop shipping. That's basically what it is. And a lot of guys, they start with Shopify and they have no idea what they're doing. And you got to start a third-party platform. Because I'm at a point now where I've been doing this seriously for the past year, and it's I have a cool little income source making 2 to 3 grand a month, and I'm 20 years old, and I mean 2 to 3 grand a month in passive income for most people my age is life changing. So you have to pay your rent, basically just pay all your living expenses, basically not have to work a job. So I don't know, perhaps when you said I'm gonna keep spending money on this and losing money on it, I'm just I don't know, man. I feel there are different avenues to go into. And so yeah, that's e-com, and then there's the second layer to that, which is going on Alibaba, and you probably weren't dropshipping from Alibaba. You're probably using AliExpress.
I was, yes.
Yeah, because Alibaba is the actual where you can buy from the wholesale companies in China, and AliExpress is kind of the retail version of that, where you can drop ship and it takes forever to come from China and it sucks. It's bro, if you're trying to drop ship from AliExpress, Shopify, you're gonna do terrible. I've tried drop shipping some AliExpress products to eBay just because the profit margins are cheap, but people get frustrated. They complain. They don't want to wait three weeks to get something. It's stupid. A lot of dudes have no idea where to even look. But yeah, so say for example, let's say I know a chair that sells on, let's say I sell a chair on eBay 100 times. So I know it's already a good selling product. And let's say it retails for $50 on Amazon. I can go on Alibaba and I can contact the wholesale supplier directly in China, and they'll sell me that chair at $10 a unit. The only problem is I have to buy 1,000 units up front.
Right.
And it takes 3 months to get here from China. But it's all right, if you already have, an income stream where you're already making money from this and you already have cash flow, then it's all right, yeah, I'll literally just create a private label company. I'll put my logo on things, I'll spend money every single month into new product. And then eventually it's yeah, it'll take 3 months to get here. If every single, if I'm putting in orders on a weekly and monthly basis, yeah, I'll just have new batches coming in consistently. So I'm at a point where in my room, my parents' house, I have a bunch of return packages. So I probably need to get a storage unit soon. And it's just if you can build a private label brand, you're getting much better pricing. You can build a much better loyal customer base. And if you have a team of virtual assistants that are doing this for you, then yeah, you can build a massive brand. So I mean, that's the second level. It's getting your product in private label, getting it into Amazon FBA, getting it in Walmart. I applied to sell in Walmart, but I got declined because they're more strict. But I got into Amazon FBA.
Yeah.
So so I'm just every single month, instead of spending $1,000, I could invest it into the S&P or Bitcoin. It's like I'm going to literally spend $1,000 every single month on private label product with my logo on it, right? I just look at it as an alternative form of investment.
Right.
Because even with inflation, it's like, all right, if I buy a chair on Alibaba for $10 and I know that chair is $50 on Amazon, I know in 10 years, even if the product doesn't sell, just because of inflation, a chair is going to be worth $70. Just as the prices of things are going to be going up.
Right.
Like so a lot of dudes will like buy real estate. They'll say, "Oh, I need to buy real estate because I'll get the inflation of the house." But like real estate's expensive and it's really impractical for a lot of dudes because even as I mentioned, it's just like it's difficult for a young guy. The economy's tough. I mean, like the median home price now is like 400 grand. And if the average income is 50 grand, you need to make 10 times your salary to even buy a house for the average guy. But like 50 years ago, the average house was like 10 grand. Average income was 5 grand. So you only need to work two full-time jobs. You only needed to work full-time for 2 years to pay off your house. So if you were a young guy and you really wanted to hustle and you wanted to work like 2 full-time jobs for like a year straight, you could be, a 19, 20-year-old guy with a paid-off house. Like that was the reality 50 years ago. But now it's much more different. And that's why I say the game is getting really hard, and it's definitely, getting more tough just for guys in general because like you have to be a guy, like you need to be making 10 grand a month. Like you need to nearly, be a guy in your 20s that has like over like $250,000 liquid. Like you need to be a guy that's like nearly a young millionaire to even like, like not to feel like you're living a decent life nowadays, bro.
There's so few people like that. I know 2 dudes like that out of probably like 100 or 150 dudes that I've met at college. And both of them, one of them, like, just blood, sweat, and tears, like, made it work with fucking meme coins. Like, that's just so volatile. It's probably the most insane way to make $1 million. And of course, like, he lost half of it when Solana had, and he could have got most of it back, but he sold off when he lost half of it. The other dude they invested $40K into the S&P 500 over COVID. I don't know how he turned it into $600K. Which is quite a bit, but that's 2 dudes out of probably 30,000 dudes, that go to that one school that I met those dudes at. So it is definitely very few.
Yeah, and then here's the problem. Here's the problem of what you're saying with that. Like I know you've talked a lot about trading and meme coins, but this is how like trading works. So for example, like for every winner in life, there's a loser.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, even with the e-commerce transaction, which I didn't finish, I'll get back to in a second. But it's like, say, for example, if I want to make money selling products, I need someone to physically pay it for me.
Yep.
And the difference in the margins is what I make, right? So you don't like say for example, if you buy a crypto coin and it goes up and you make money, you're only making money because some guy is buying it off of you at the top. Yeah. So it's basically a zero-sum game, right? So that's why, when dudes talk about like crypto or like meme coins, like trading, like I don't know, it just feels kind of, especially meme coins. Meme coins are dumb. Unless you're just
those are dead. Those are
but I mean like it's a zero-sum game because no one wins or loses. Like if you buy a coin at $5 and it goes to $10 and you make $5 profit and you sell it, you only made $5 profit because some guy bought it off of you at the top. Meaning, if you look at any Bitcoin chart. It goes up and then it comes down. And the only reason that it comes down is because it goes to the top. Because you got to think about it. When these, like, you got to say, like, a lot of guys have this fantasy about, oh, I'm going to buy this meme coin really cheap and it's going to pump to the moon. You're basically assuming that, all right, you got to think, if a meme coin is going to go to $100 million, in like market cap or whatever, that only happens because, like there's a bunch of liquidity getting pumped into the coin. So if you want to make money, you need to be into the coin early.
Yeah.
Which means that all of those other dudes that dumped the $100 million into it are not in early. So in order for you to make your gains on your shitty crypto coin, there needs to be a bunch of dudes that lose money.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the game. So I mean, if you like, and that's even the same in life. And I don't know, trading. I don't know, trading's a bit different because it's kind of skill you get good at it, and that's why like a lot of guys say like dollar cost average, invest into the S&P or like Bitcoin on a monthly basis. Which is what I do. I have a Roth and I have like a Bitcoin like kind of IRA that I've set up. So I put $500 a month every single month DCA into Bitcoin. I don't even check the price. So I'm going to literally over the next 10 years I'm going to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. and I hope it ends up well or whatever. But I don't check the price. I don't look at the price of Bitcoin. I don't look at the price of the stock market because my primary concern is earning money to just dollar cost average into things. But it's just it's like yeah, if you make money off of an investment, you only made money because some guy bought at the top and he lost all his money.
Yeah.
So it's a zero sum game, right? Like at least for example, if you own a business or you sell a product or you're a fitness coach and you sell a fitness program and you make money, at least you're providing a product or something to someone. Like if you're a fitness coach, even if you have an offer and you make money with it, maybe you help someone get in more shape and they pay you for it. That's good. So there was some value in it. But with crypto, and trading just in general,
you're not offering a service. It's called a lonely sport.
There's really there's no work being done. There's no, I don't know, and especially with meme coins in particular, it's not even a zero sum game where no one earns. It's a negative sum game because all these platforms have fees. So every time you buy and sell, bro, especially on Coinbase or Phantom Wallet, there's a 2 or 3% fee. So it's a negative sum game, and that's how a lot of things in life are. Because even for example, I talked to you earlier. It's if you want to, for example, if you're a young guy and you're talking to 3 girls at once, and maybe you're casually dating 3 girls at once, which a lot of guys that have money do. If you're if you are that rare unicorn guy that is making 10 grand a month and you're 20 years old, you can casually date 3 or 4 girls that are 18, 19-year-olds at once. But that also means that the only reason you're able to do that, because if you're a 20-year-old guy and you're dating bro, this is gonna be bro, I was gonna say dating 3 18-year-olds, but this is the game, If you're a guy and you're 20, 21 years old and you're making 10 grand a month, you're doing good, and you're just casually dating, 3 girls that are freshmen in university that are 18, 19 years old. You're only able to date those 3 girls because there are 3 other dudes that are single and can't even get a girl to talk to them.
Yep.
So that's how the world works. It's win-lose. And this kind of goes back to the e-commerce model. A lot of guys, I told you about, there's drop shipping, there's private label. And private label is where you can really get into the real branding. Say, for example, I have my Chase Parker Enterprises product line. I buy product with my actual logo on it. I create an actual company. I have a website. I have an actual email list. I have a virtual assistant that is doing email targeting campaigns. I have a legitimate business here, and I have customer support. You have a legitimate business here. You can approach a private equity firm and you say, hey, I have, say, an e-commerce brand that is $100,000 a month in profit, right? So most businesses are valued at a 6 to 8 times multiplier. So if you have a business that does $1.2 million a year in profit, you can approach a private equity firm and be like, hey, at an 8 times multiplier, say my company is worth $9.6 million.
Right.
So you could, make a deal with, a private equity firm, and you can be like, all right, yeah, I'll sell you 20% of my company forever. Write me a check for $2 million. So if you can be that guy and you can build up an e-commerce brand, which is ideally what I'm trying to do, you can be a young guy in your late 20s, sell 20% of your company forever, get a check for $2 million, buy a house, live off that forever, and and then you still have 80% of your company. So and you just pay 20% of your profits out to some guy that paid you forever. That might be the way to go. But I don't know. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing with the e-commerce brand. But as of right now, that's what I was even telling you about the agency model. The agency model is where you get into SaaS or selling software as a service, is where you can really get into the big profits. Because say, for example, if I have an agency which I help other people create e-commerce brands, right?
Yeah.
And say I charge, let's say I make $500 a month off of each client, and I have 100 clients. What's that?
10,000. You said 100 clients, $100.
No, if you can make $500 a month, because say how my model is working is if I charge $1K up front, and I'm managing a store for them, and I have a virtual assistant I'm hiring to do that. And let's say each client is $500 a month recurring revenue. You have 100 clients.
50K.
50K a month. Yes, and if you have 50K a month, you're making 600 grand a year. You can say I have an agency that's 600 grand a year profit. I would say it's a $6 million company. Give me $1 million check for 15% of my company. So that's where the real money is private equity, and I don't know, when dudes, when I hear dudes, just talking about like trying to catch some meme coin pump. It's just like, bro, like
that's just degeneracy.
You were so far gone, and like there are much better uses of your time. And yeah, so I feel like if you're a young guy, like you need to be spending all of your time trying to generate active income. Like go to trade school, get a job. Like you need to be putting in work actively. And even like, bro, because even if you're a young guy, like you could argue like, yeah, I don't have any skills. Because a lot of young guys that I know that are like broke and they have no money, they say like, oh, I'm broke, like, like life is hard. I'm like, you're a young guy. Like, you can get a job, like at a gas station being a cashier and make $15 an hour. Like you can do something. Like a lot of guys don't want to do anything. They're just lazy. And it's just like, all right, yeah, you can get a job making $15 an hour. And like, yes, I get that the job sucks. I get that you don't want to do it. You don't have to do it forever. I mean, you should get a job making at least $15 an hour and work, 12, 13, 14-hour shifts. There's no reason you shouldn't be making at least $200 a day now. And then once you have your job where you're making $200 a day, you build up another income source where you're making $100 a day. And then you're 18 years old on $300 a day, working every single day. And then you're on 10 grand a month, which is kind of the situation I'm in right now, where it's like, all right, yeah, I have all these different income sources and I'm hustling all the time. But now I'm looking at it like, all right, how do I turn this into a more passive income system where I'm not having to work all day every single day, and you're doing this while you're going to school and you're sleep deprived all the time. It's objectively hard. And that's why I've realized that dating is really hard, because if you are that guy and like you are going to school and you're working all the time and you're doing all these things, like you don't have time to like go on dates and socialize with people. So oftentimes you'll be like, all right, I am the guy that, is making money, is trying to do good in my classes. Like, why aren't all the women paying attention to me? Right? And then that's when you'll start to see like they'll date the guys who, like are in the frats that are broke. And you realize like, bro, like in her brain, it was never about that. Like she doesn't care about the money. She just wants a guy that, will take her to the clubs that will excite her. And you get really good at understanding this. So it's really interesting how the games work. And keep in mind, like I wouldn't trade my position for the world. Like I would never, because like a lot of young guys, just because, I'm telling you that a lot of girls will date broke guys, or they will date guys that, like are objectively losers that smoke and do drugs because they're exciting when they're younger. That doesn't mean that you should do that. Like you should still want to make money for yourself, right? Like I feel like that should be the concern first. Yeah, and then once you have the money coming in, like, yeah, if you want to go out and, meet people, I'm going to be honest, bro, you can literally do what I'm doing. You could literally just create like a burner Snapchat account and just pay a virtual assistant like $300 a month full time to just like text girls full time, like 8 hours.
You do that?
This video is gonna get clipped up, and I'm gonna have people watch it, so I don't want to say much about my operations. But it's like really interesting because like the average guy, like they'll spend all day every day trying to chase girls and talk to girls. I'm just like, dude, you could literally hire a virtual assistant in the Philippines for $1 an hour and pay them $10 a day to literally get you hundreds of women in your phone viewing your stories and your clips every single day. You don't know they exist. You log into your phone and you have, 5, 10 of them out of the 1,000 your virtual assistants got you saying like, oh, I really like you, I want to hang out. I'm telling you, I've learned the game the hard way.
That's the fucking method, dude. That's sick.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird because, I've like told my virtual assistant, I'll be like, all right, let's see like which method, like works first. Let's try like quick app, let's try like cold DM, like try like, like texting them, asking them how their day was, like sending their name. And like, it's weird because you'll get a lot of girls that will for example, this video is gonna,
this is so funny, bro.
This is gonna get clipped. This is gonna get clipped up and it's gonna like ruin my dating career, but I don't care. Like, so I remember like I logged into my Snapchat account one day because like I have virtual assistants that work for me. Like I have one VA, he does full-time listings, and I have another guy like he does like content, social media management, and like he's gonna be the one that clips up this post, post it on my YouTube Shorts, on my Instagram, on my TikTok. So like I don't do any of this stuff. So like like a lot of people they look at my Snapchat and they're like, oh yeah, like you post 10 times a day, or like I had one girl that texted me because my VA texted her hi. Because I just told him to text like 100 girls on my phone and see like which ones were interested. And there's one girl, she replied with like something arrogant. She was like, dude, you've already reached out to me like 5 times and I've shut you down every single time. What's your problem? And I'm just reading this and I'm just like, you have no idea what kind of operation I'm running. So I mean yeah, and that's the method. I feel like honestly because it's just like. A lot of guys will spend their time, chasing girls, trying to cold approach girls, and it's like, bro,
get a Philippine dude to do that shit for you.
Yeah, and I mean, like, bro, it's just like you can make $10 in a day back easily. Like, get a
Yeah.
$20 an hour job and just it's 30 minutes of your time. You can donate plasma in the U.S., bro. If you're complaining that you're broke, you need to be donating your own plasma, donating your own blood, looking at bank bonuses. Like, dude, you can make like up to $600 a month donating plasma.
How much does plasma pay? Is it $600 a month?
Yeah, there's this one. I worked at a medical screen. I worked as a medical screener at a plasma center one time, right? Because I've done a bunch of jobs with medical stuff. And yeah, I worked at like Octaforma Plasma in Raleigh, and I mean it's like they pay you $70 a liter per plasma that you donate.
How often would you have to donate?
You're only allowed to donate legally like twice a week, because if you're donating like more than two, because plasma is like it's the
serum, the blood.
Yeah, it's like the liquid component of your blood. So your blood, you have red blood cells, you have plasma, you have platelets, and you have white blood cells that make up 1%. But anyway, basically, you have a phlebotomist. They stick you, and then basically this machine pulls blood out of you, and then it filters, the plasma out of the blood, and then returns the blood back to you. Right. And they also give you a liter of normal saline to basically make up for some of that lost volume. Right? So it's like, yeah, so if you were to theoretically try to donate plasma 10 times a week, like that would not be healthy, right? Because you're taking a lot of blood volume out, you're going to get very hypotensive, like you're going to start feeling dizzy, you're going to be really dehydrated, like it's not healthy. So you're legally only allowed to donate plasma up to 2 times a week. But I mean, like, dude, if you're a really broke guy, every day after class, or at least 2 days a week, you need to be going to the plasma center. You need to be making at least $150 every single week donating plasma. And that alone is literally enough to like pay your VA to like chase these girls around for you, so you can spend all your time actually making money and making content. And then these girls are basically seeing, because like, bro, like for example, like the idea of like a hot girl approaching like a dude is like unheard of. Like it just
happened to me. I've had that.
It's happened to you, but it's rare. Like it doesn't happen. Like girls, like it doesn't happen. But I mean, like if you genuinely do what I do, where you have a virtual assistant that like has a full-time job, just adding like hundreds of girls every single day. It's their full-time job. Like and they're posting content. So what I found is like if you quick add girls on Snapchat and you text them, like a lot of them will unadd you, like they'll block you, like they think it's weird. So what I found is like it kind of goes back to like female psychology is really weird. Like they treat you best when you ignore them. Yeah. Like they treat you best when you ignore them and you don't talk to them. And like if you are that, like really attention, like you give her a lot of attention, like they hate that. That's why they like the bad boy. Like they like the frat guy that doesn't care about them. And they look at the guy like that's like locked in and hustling as boring. Right? So you kind of understand psychology, but I mean, yeah, you can be one of those guys where it's like, just with the law of sheer math, if you're paying a guy in the Philippines $10, $20 a day to get you like 15 to 20 new girls in your Snapchat every single day, I mean, because they're leads, they really are, just like they're leads, right? And you're never texting them, you're ignoring them. Like you don't text them, because to them, you're just some random guy on the internet. That's why I feel like you kind of need to be a content creator in today's society. Because I mean, a lot of girls are just like, is this guy going to try to kill me? Like, so it's weird. So you got to understand that. But it's just like, yeah, like if you're posting content every single day, and they see your face every single day, and you're chill and like you're not weird and you're respectful, like yeah, if you're just getting new women in your phone every single day, and like you have like hundreds, almost 1,000 women like viewing your story every single day. Over time, like, yeah, 20 or 30 of them, like 2 or 3% of them are going to like develop little crushes on you. Like, they're going to view your content every single day. But they're going to like just out of the blue, like engage you, talk to you, like swipe up on your stories.
Right.
Like it's really weird. And like, yeah, so like a lot of guys, like they've like, and what I think I've learned is, it's like a lot of guys, they try to flex the idea of, like now it's called like cracking. Like yeah, a lot of guys, like they want to crack because a lot of guys now, like they're gooners, like they don't really know much about this system I'm talking about. Like a lot of guys, like they want to get the validation, like they want to crack a girl. Like a lot of guys, like they're 18, 19, like they want to, they want to have sex with a girl for the first time. And what I learned through doing this is if you're a young guy, I feel like you're not even necessarily so much in like just wanting to like crack a random girl, because like think about it, like in today's society, like bro, like you're probably like you're like, just say for example you're a 20-year-old guy, like you're broke, like maybe you're living with your parents, like you don't really have an income source, like bro, you're really in no serious position in your life to even support a serious relationship or even possibly have a kid, and deep down you don't want to, and it's not even worth your time. So it's just like really think about it in a practical sense. Like you obviously you're not trying to run around like just having sex with any girl, but a lot of guys like they want to do that, so they'll cold approach girls just because they want to get the validation of doing that. I get it, and I mean just for example, like yeah, like I feel like a lot of guys like they want to fuck a girl for the first time, but if you kind of learn what I'm doing, and you know that like all right, I feel like here what am I trying to say here? You don't necessarily want to be a guy that can just crack a random girl. You want to be a guy that you know is desirable, right? Like, because if you know you're a guy and like you have random women viewing your stories every single day, like engaging in conversation with you, like actually talking to you, and you objectively know like some of these girls like would hang out with you if you asked, like you kind of like become a lot more chill. Like you're just like, like I don't need to like
You distance yourself.
Yeah, because you're kind of just like
you don't want it. You're not desperate.
Yeah, you're kind of just like you know what, like so I feel like a lot of guys like they crave the validation of like like just wanting to crack a random girl and they're like really horny. But it's like if you're in a position where like all right, like you have new girls like coming into your Snapchat every single day because you're paying a guy to do this full time. Like they're like you have the occasional like hot girl like actually messaging you and like wanting to talk to you, like it kind of goes away because I feel like deep down you're not necessarily like a lot of guys like I want to fuck a girl so bad. It's like that's not even necessarily true. You want to feel like you're a guy that is sexually desirable. That's what you want to feel deep down. And the thing about it is, for a lot of guys, is what you've learned is like I feel like you don't even need to talk to a bunch of girls. You don't even need to like have sex with a bunch of random girls to know you're like a guy that's sexually desirable. Like if you're a guy, you're in shape, you're taking your life seriously, you're respectful, and like you genuinely know you're a good person. Like you already kind of know that you're a desirable guy. Like you knew if you were to like go up to 100 girls on the street, like some of them would talk to you. It's just literally all about not being creepy. Like I don't know, I've learned a lot, and I was kind of rambling there, but I feel like you were kind of enjoying listening to it.
I was lucky just sitting back and listening. But yeah, you got to be interesting. You have to have shit going on because if you're just fucking jerking off to Instagram models or I don't know how any motherfuckers actually subscribe to fucking OnlyFans because that's like you gotta be a retard to subscribe to OnlyFans because porn is like if you're actually a porn addict, if that's actually what you're going for, like it's all free. Like you don't need to be paying for that shit. But as long as you have stuff going on, as long as you're decently good looking, as long as you're confident, you're sociable, fucking fine. You really don't need to be worrying about it. And it's not even that. Like I remember before I ever had sex, like I didn't really know what was up with it. And after the first time I had sex, it was just not.
Like, this is
I was like, it was not what it was hyped up to be at all.
This is trash.
It really is not, especially with hookups. Hookups are so. Some people supposedly enjoy them, but they're really not enjoyable at all. Yeah, especially you never see the girl again. Like an actual relationship is supposed to be about trust and like actually spending time with the person, and it's a lot more fulfilling than just having sex once and then never fucking seeing her again. Or especially because plenty like there's girls you wouldn't want to date and there's girls who you would want to date, and if she's just partying all the time, like really into drugs, really because I've been with girls like that, and it really is like if she's super into vaping, super into smoking, super into. I was with this girl one time. It would have been. At one point, she was into ketamine, like she was on hard drugs. It's like,
why were you dating her?
I was not dating her. I was not dating her. Yeah, I cut her off because she wasn't dateable, bro. Like,
yeah,
meth, ketamine, like that's not. She wasn't ugly, but that's just so unattractive. You don't want to be with somebody like that unless that is who you are, because a lot of girls like that are into. I had a coworker one time who he was like fucking 30, and he had a girlfriend and she had a kid, which is also just not the play. Like as a man, your goal should be to start a family, not to join a family, right? But he was her crack dealer, and so he just had her on the hook for crack. Like if you're a drug dealer, your girl will never ever ever leave you because you're her supplier. Like you're just giving that shit to her. But those aren't girls that you want to date if that's not who you are. If you're about hustling, if you're about making money, if you're about progress, if you're about because the dude's actually the dude's spending all their time working on their business, working on their body, and improving themselves and working they're not out there. They're not going to the parties all the time. They're not at the club all the time where all these girls are. And so you're really not going to be in that environment because you're just so locked in and so focused. And like you were saying earlier, like girls don't really care. Like they don't want to see the work. They don't want to see the pro. They just want you to have it. They just want to believe that it all just fell into your lap and that you're just like this guy who just has it all, because it all comes down to biology and genetics.
I my water, bro.
You got it, bro. But I'll keep talking. It's all about biology, it's about genetics, because it's about having kids, right? You want to have the best possible genes to reproduce with, because you want to have the strongest and most able children, right? And so a girl doesn't want to know about all this looks vaccine shit you've done, or all the, I don't know, the roids you're taking, or the how long you've been working out for, like how much you had to grind to really get your money and to whatever the fuck it is, because she wants to just think that you were just born perfect and born attractive, and like, oh yeah, like oh, like you're so muscular, like yep, I just never been to a gym day in my life, been working blue collar whole time, like the Zeke just spawned in you from throwing hay bales around and shit, and like they don't want to know that you like spend 2 hours a day in the gym, like 5 days a week, or like whatever the fuck, like split you're on, or like that you eat 5 meals a day, or just whatever. Like they just want to think that you had it. They just want to think, and obviously
and that's why like when I say like when dudes talk about like the bone smashing and the peptide stuff, like, I'm just like, bro, like it's weird. Like no girl is ever gonna like talk to you anymore because like you took a peptide. Like dude, like no, it just doesn't work. But you go on, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was talking about they just don't want to know all the work that you put, because it's sort of unattractive. But the girls you would want to date would be actually somewhat interested and would kind of value that, because I think it's so few. It's probably a small percentage of girls, and obviously there are girls that are actually good to date. You know, they're kind and they're sweet, and they're not hoes. They're not just giving it out to everybody. But it's not all of them. And even,
bro, I'm already thinking about so many good responses to everything. I got a good lessons because I've learned a lot of things.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, and shoot, fuck.
You got it. You're on the spot.
Another thing is I know you were talking about like dudes like wanting to watch OF and like subscribing to OF girls.
It's just so crazy.
No, and the difference is like I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, because I remember like when I first applied to college, where I was a senior in high school like 3 or 4 years ago. Because I remember like I'm going to a small town. I got into college, and I'm like looking into like all these girls that are in like like my university community on the Snapchat. Like, oh my god, these girls are like so hot or whatever.
Fucking Snapchat profiles, bro.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at like, oh my god, these girls are so hot. Like I've never seen a girl this like hot in my hometown or whatever. And like now, fast forward like 3 or 4 years later, like I genuinely go on Instagram and I go on Snapchat, and if I see like a profile of like a girl that looks like really hot or like is really attractive, the first thing I even question now is like, is this even a real girl? Because like with these with these AI profiles and dudes that will create like webcam girls, like and this is why I feel like it could maybe get a little bit easier for guys, because like 10 years ago when Instagram first came out, like you would see these hot girls on Instagram and they were able to get a lot of attention, but they didn't have to return like any of like the intimacy for it like traditionally.
Right.
Because traditional relationships are like girl gives intimacy, guy gives commitment, like money, financial resources, and that's the trade. But now with social media, we've had this ability where women are able to get a lot of attention, a lot of commitment, money from a lot of guys, but they don't have to have sex with any of them. And that's been the trade-off of why it's gotten harder for the average guy, right? But now, like with these AI things, I mean, there's still going to be dudes out there that are gooners that like buy into this. But I mean, it's just like, it's like now, like me personally, if I like come across a girl's profile, like I have an account texting me, like before I even even consider like getting emotionally involved with the girl now, or like even thinking it's even real, like my first thought is like, is this a bot? So no, because this is a genuine concern now, because it's just like now it's like if you want to actually like if you're a girl, like even for someone like me, and like if I were to even consider like dating you, like I have to actually see you with my own eyes, because now with like bots, like if I see a video or like a picture of you, like I don't believe you're a real person. So I feel like, like, I don't know, that's going to be like, I think better for me because, like, you're not really going to like fall in love with some girl that you met on Snapchat, right? Like a lot of dudes do.
I've seen that fucking happen. I've seen people find their wives or their husbands off quick at. Like it's not everybody, but I've seen that shit happen. Even though it's like funny as hell, it's like just straight out of an Instagram.
Yeah, and another thing going back to it. So I was talking about that with the AI girls. I think you were talking about, like there are girls in clubs and parties. Yeah, so it's just like, and another common misunderstanding that I feel like a lot of young guys have. Because I feel a lot of girls, a lot of guys will say like, and I'm not gendering the argument, right? Both genders are like this. But a lot of guys will say the argument like, oh yeah, like, I really like this girl. And it turns out she was a hoe. She went to the party and she went to the club. And the thing is like, bro, this is a lesson I feel like I had to learn the hardest possible way. But it's just like, since the beginning of time, and I want you to listen to me what I say here, because this will literally, change your mental model and will save you a lot of time and prevent you a lot of heartache. You might want to listen to this too.
All right.
Since the beginning of time, there have always been hoes. There are classifications of people.
Yep.
And I'm not gendering the argument, right? But I'm just saying for women in particular, because this is a male podcast, like I am creating a personal brand and most of my followers are going to be men, right? Like a lot of my customers and dudes that follow me are guys. There have always been hoes since the beginning of time. You have your categories, right? In today's society, you have hoes, you have girlfriends, you have wives, right? But just think back to thousands of years ago, since the beginning of time. There were always prostitutes, there were always hookers, there were always promiscuous girls. Like there were always girls that were hoes, like since the beginning of time, ever, right? And there were always the wives, right? That were just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna like talk to a random guy, but there were always the hoes. So in today's society, you have your hoes, you have your girlfriends, you have your wives. You have your hoes, like, like I don't even need to elaborate on that. And you have your girlfriend material where it's like the girl where, like, think about like the typical average sorority girl. Like you look at her and like she's like, she doesn't appear to be like a hoe, but like you also know like you can't really take her seriously. Like, the kind of girl, public Instagram page, like $2 million, 2 mil snap score. Like you can't accuse her of being a thought, but like deep down, like,
I feel like girlfriend should be wife, but then there's like unserious girlfriend who you wouldn't.
Yeah, like kind of like, like she's more interested in attention than she would be in me.
Superficial.
So I'm not saying that she's a hoe, but you can't put her in like the super loyal wife category. Like you have some girls that you'll meet, like even the young ones, they're just like, no, like I'm super Christian, I believe in God, like I go to Bible study. Like you have your wives categories, right? So a lot of guys, like, here's the thing. A lot of guys, this is where they get heartbroken, they get really red pilled. This is what happened to me from the beginning. There have always been categories since the beginning of time, right? So a lot of guys, for example, they'll get their first girlfriend, they'll like fall in love with some girl, and they'll find out, she went to a nightclub and like she fucked some dude in the back of the nightclub. And you'll see these memes about like some guy's 2-year relationship was one guy's one night stand.
Yeah.
And it's just like, bro, that's your fault. It's not her fault because you're messing up your categories. Hoes have always been hoes since the beginning of time. So if you're meeting a girl that is a hoe, you'd be like, all right, yeah, like this is a hoe. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like there's nothing wrong with the girl that wants to be a hoe. Like that's completely acceptable. But where a lot of guys make the mistake is they'll find a girl like she's clearly a hoe. Like there are all these red flags, and they'll be like, oh yeah, like this is a wife quality girl. And then when she does something, they get heartbroken about it. And it's just like, no, bro, you just misjudged. And that's why you're upset. So, you really got to find your, like, qualities now. Because I remember, like, I don't know, like, like, I've had, like, a bunch of different talking stages with, like, girls and whatnot. And, like, obviously, like, some of them won't work out. And you get, like, upset about it. But then you look at it retrospectively, you're just like, you kind of understand the situation. You're just like, yeah, at the time I was upset about it. But, like, 2 years after the situation happened, I'm able to look back at it and be like, yeah, like with everything that I saw, like it made sense why she did that. Like I understand now. And yeah, bro, I mean, that's kind of it. And I mean, as a general rule of thumb, this, I don't know, I got in an argument about this before, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me. And I've even gotten an argument with this about like other guys that disagree with me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a so I'm in a group chat. You might be in a group chat. I was in a group chat with like a bunch of dudes that I know. I created, and we have like little discussions. We talk about all kinds of stuff. And I said one thing is just like you should never. And a lot of guys, even going back to the last thing, a lot of guys will say like, how do you know if a girl is a hoe or if she's like actually a wife quality girl, right? And in my opinion, there's really only like one way to actually like distinguish if a girl's like an actual wife quality.
How's that?
Literally, I'm going to break it down for you as simple as possible, and this is going to give me a lot of hate. A girl, and just repeat this with me, and accept this as a rule of thumb. A girl is not a wife quality girl if she is not a virgin. I said it. That's it. Dude. Literally, bro, you're a guy, right? If a girl is not a virgin, she is not a wife quality girl. And that take has gotten me in a lot of trouble, but it is so true. And I'll tell you why, bro. Like, if you really look into the statistics, like marriage is already extremely tough. Like, you know, it's proven that, you know, the more sexual history a girl or a woman has, the higher the likelihood is a divorce.
Yeah.
And it's just like the statistics are terrible now. It's like, dude, it's like now like 10% of men are finding out that like their kids like aren't even theirs.
Bro, that's a whole other fucking topic.
But it goes back to that.
No, okay, hold on. So when a woman has multiple sexual partners, and this is like seen in animals as well, women will store the genetic code from the other men's semen to use the best possible genes for any future kid created. So if your wife has 10 bodies, your kid isn't even 100% yours. Your kid is, obviously it's like split between half the man and half the woman, but you also probably get like 20, 30% of all the other dudes she slept with DNA in your kid. Your kid isn't even 100% your kid. Is so freaky. And the whole virgin thing, it's just so rare now. Like, obviously,
actually,
virgins.
it's not.
Really?
No, I mean, that's not true. I feel like it's not really true. I mean, if you look at it, like, I would say probably the average 19-year-old girl is probably a virgin. Because
in America?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Bro, I know this is, you gotta think about it. Like, most girls, like, you know, most girls aren't having sex in high school, and like, you know, unless they have like a serious boyfriend, like a lot of girls, like, you know, are virgins around the time they're 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
So that even goes back to the thing. It's like, if you're a 25-year-old man, it's perfectly acceptable for you to date a 19, 20-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you cold approach enough 19 and 20-year-old girls, you'll find that wasn't having any sexual past. And, you know, I got in an argument with a guy about it, and he was basically telling me, because it was like he had a crush on some girl, like he was dating some girl, and obviously like she, you know,
probably had 15 bodies.
Yeah, like he was really in love with this girl, and like she was like a sorority girl. She kind of had a past to her. So obviously I said that, and I kind of made him upset. Then obviously what happened? She broke up with him, and he was upset about it. And I was just like,
look what happened. I told you.
Yeah, and I mean it's just such a simple fact, and like shoot, what was I going to say about it? And I got in an argument with another girl about it. It was at one job that I worked. I don't even know why. I was talking about this on shift or whatever.
Was this your current job?
Nah, this was another job that I worked. I was working with this girl. She was about, I'm going to go. I'll cut the podcast out right here. I'm going to take a leak real quick. Right, you want to take a break or whatever?
I don't really got to pee. I'm ready to lift though. We've been doing this for like an hour, 30 minutes. I think I'll take a piss, actually. Real quick. Is there a light in here?
Yeah.
Okay. you can't even get mad about a girl being a hoe or having a bunch of bodies. Like, it's really just up to you to be discreet about it, or just
there's nothing bad about it.
discern.
You just got to understand how to categorize.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not over, bro. And like this isn't even a misogynist take at all. I mean, this is like feminism, right? This is what it's come to. It's your body, it's your choice. But it's just like, I don't know. I got into a discussion like, I don't know. This was like over a year ago. This was a job I worked at, and there was one girl. She was like 24, and she was a single mom, and she was very open about like how she was a hoe. Like, she was open about it. Like, she would talk about like, oh yeah, like I fuck random dudes. She was like, yeah, I just
that ain't
like
shit to brag about, bro.
Yeah, but I guess she thought, I don't know, bro. And I was kind of trying to explain to her, because I'm like 19 years old, and I'm trying to explain to her, and I'm just like, you realize that, like, because I don't know, I shouldn't have said this. This is why I've had so many jobs, because, I've gotten in trouble with some of them. And I was kind of saying, like, yeah, like, like, you doing all this, and, like, bragging about how you have sex with as many dudes as possible being a single mom. Like, literally, like, no guy, like, wants to marry you. Like, they think that's kind of gross.
If you want to do to help raise your kid, which is like hard to find on its own, if you're just out here like stacking up bodies like in the hundreds, in the tens, like just hella bodies. Because a woman is born with value, right? A man has to build his value.
Yeah.
A woman is born with value, but can lose her value over time, like a car. Just, on how she acts. If she sleeps around with a bunch of dudes, that's just gross, Like, she's like fucking Bonnie Blue's husband. Like, how do you even fucking come to that? Like, that's so dishonoring and just gross, and just like, why would you, you're really like, oh yeah, like, how many bodies do you have? Oh yeah, I have like 5, and then she has 500. That's just.
No, I mean, I'm just completely at a point where like I wouldn't marry a girl that isn't a virgin, which also means I wouldn't ever consider seriously dating a girl that isn't a virgin. Because, like, if I'm like talking to a girl and I like a girl, that's not really going to be like a question that I ask at first, because it's kind of weird. But, like, after you go on a couple of dates and you know someone for like, like a month or two, and it actually starts to get serious, like, I'm going to ask her. It's just like, if I find out you've had like a lot of, like, a big sexual past, like, that's a no to me. I'm completely fine being single. So with this other story, I was trying to explain to this girl, I was trying to explain to her how the male brain works, because she didn't quite understand. I mean, I don't know. You let me know if you agree with this.
Sure.
So the traditional exchange is this. This is how it has always worked since the beginning of time. It's girl gives sexual exclusivity to man for basically in exchange for commitment, financial resources, protection, etc. Right? So girl gives sex to man, right? Sexual access exclusive for, commitment, like house, shelter. That's the exchange. Man gives commitment, resources, in exchange for sexual exclusivity and children. That's how the exchange has always worked.
Yeah.
Right? That's how the exchange has always worked since the beginning of time. And that goes back to, now, like, like women are able to, get commitment from a lot of guys at once, but, they don't have to give the same in return. Right? But obviously that's not how it works for the average girl. So I was trying to explain to her how this works. So I'm saying, like, all right, you're trying to find some guy to marry you, right? So you want some guy to pay full price, essentially, right? So you've already given guys that didn't commit to you. So these guys, you don't know them. You brag about how you had a kid with a random guy and that, he was a bad guy and he was a terrible dad and then he left you. It's like, you gave this guy sexual access to you. You gave him a child. You gave him a kid. You gave him the highest form that a woman could ever give a man. You literally gave him a child. You gave him part of his DNA, offspring. You gave him that. And guess how much commitment he had to give? Zero. So that's literally the equivalent. So you literally gave a man a child. You gave a bunch of dudes sexual access to you. And then you're asking for another guy to marry you. So in the male brain, and a lot of women are like, bro, they won't understand how this works, but I'm telling you how this works in the male brain. That's literally the exact equivalent is if I were to literally go to a McDonald's drive-thru, and let's say I order a double cheeseburger, right, or a milkshake, just a milkshake. So the first two guys, they go up to the windshield, milkshake's free. Second guy goes up to the windshield, milkshake's free. Third guy goes up to the windshield, gets a milkshake, a cheeseburger, and a French fry for free. I go up to the window. I'm like, I'll get a milkshake, please. And then you be like, oh, you need to marry me. You need to buy me a house now. And that's the exact equivalent of the guy being like, that double cheeseburger will be $20. And then I'm going to be at the windshield being like, what? That's literally how we think. So, I mean, like, and this even gets back into it. Like, it's like, yeah, if I'm dating a girl and like, I find out like, yeah, like, like she's actually like a wife quality girl, like, like she is a virgin, then that's when I would consider taking it seriously. And like, I'd be like, all right, like, yeah, like you don't have a hoe past. But if I meet a girl and like, she is very open about having a sexual past, then, and if she's going to play like the, like wait till marriage game, like you need to spoil me when I've already found out that, like when you were 19 years old, like, like you let your first boyfriend like take your virginity after knowing you for like 2 weeks, then like, I'm going to be like, hell no, like he didn't pay full price. I'm not paying full price. So that's how the male brain works. And a lot of women just won't understand that, but that's exactly how it works. And I'm sure you would agree with me.
Yeah, I mean, if you want exclusivity, which is what men want, like you don't want the Bonnie Blue 1,000 bodies. That's just unattractive. That's just gross because it's just.
Well, no, the thing is, like, I actually respect Bonnie Blue.
Well, she's making money from it.
Hear me out. Because Bonnie Blue, she's a hoe. Like, she's objectively a hoe. She's a whore. But she is very open about it. Like, she's over here saying, like in her own words, she's like, yeah, I'm a whore. Like, I'll fuck a bunch of dudes. Like, she's very open about her promiscuity. Her, like, promiscuity. Yeah. She's very open about it. And as I said earlier, it's like there have always been categories. You got your hoes and you got your wives. It's like, bro, if a girl wants to be a hoe, I don't care. Like, good for you. But like, at least Bonnie Blue, like I respect, girls like her that are at least like open about like what they do. Because, a lot of these girls like will do that stuff. Like, they'll just hook up with random dudes. And then, like, they won't even, like, let the guy that they date, like, seriously even know about it.
All the girls I've known who were like that were very open about it. And they
Yeah, but some, like, won't talk about it. And then, like, and here's the thing about it. Like, that girl I was talking to, she was just like, oh, well, that's not true. Like, if a guy really likes you, he'll marry you anyway. It doesn't matter. And I'll be like, that might be true, like, if you're dating, like, a really insecure, like, really liberal guy. But, like, if a man is, like, literally like has balls and like is actually like a guy, like you don't understand this, but this is how male brain works. It's like you got to understand, if you're a girl and you let 10 other guys like literally have sexual access to you and they don't have to commit to it, if another guy goes and marries that girl, basically for the rest of your life, all those other 10 dudes are clowning that guy. They're just like, oh yeah, like he's a dude, he's a girl, and they, I guess there's nothing really bad about it, but like if you're a girl and you like have sex with a bunch of random dudes and then I come along and marry you later, like all the dudes that are like, oh yeah, he's the guy that married the hoe. And especially like like if you live in like the same hometown your entire life, and like for example, I still talk to a lot of guys from my high school. Like, we all kind of know each other. It's just like none of us really want to be known as like the guy that like married the hoe.
Yeah.
None of us want to have that reputation ever. So like a lot of girls don't really understand like the male brain. And even going back to it, I told you earlier, like, yeah, like I have this e-commerce brand that I'm working on. I have this agency that I'm trying to do. I'm going to keep buying stuff in wholesale. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to put my logo on it. Like my long-term vision with this, like I can get literally a warehouse. I keep my product in private label, and I have like a legitimate e-commerce brand, like doing 50, 100 grand a month profit, right? So if you, like I explained to you earlier, if you have a business that does 100 grand a month profit, $1.2 million a year, at an 8-time multiplier, that's easily a $10 million company, at least. So that's like literally like a micro cap company, right? In and of itself. And that's just doing one thing. That's just selling items, right? So, my long-term vision with this is like I literally have my little business where I'm putting my name enterprises on product. That's literally what it is. And it's like, yeah, like if you have kids and you build this multi-million-dollar company, like your kids are going to inherit the business. Like if you have a son, he's going to become the CEO of your business. Like you're going to literally, like if you build up a fortune of millions of dollars, like, and you're giving, your son freaking control over that, it's like, how can I even ensure that this
It's
kid that is inheriting the millions of dollars that I work for, my enterprise that I built, and like I don't even know if he's my kid. Like that just cannot happen. And like I don't know what other way I can say that. Like it's just intolerable. So like my general rule of thumb is like going forward with my life is like I'm not dating a girl as a virgin. I'm not taking a girl seriously. And a lot of people will like they think that take is really bad. The thing is like think about it. As I said earlier, it's like say if 50% of 19-year-old women are freaking virgins, right? If they are, if half are virgins, or even if 10% of 25-year-old women are virgins and you're trying to date a 25-year-old girl when you're older and it's 10%, it's just like, all right, we'll just become a top 10% man, right? So it's just like, if all you do is work and you study and you train and you make money, like, are you objectively not a top 10% guy, right? Like when some guys will say like, oh yeah, like I can't get that girl. Like that's rare. Like, are you just saying you're not good enough to attract one? Like, is that what you're saying? Because I don't really think that's the case. Like, I don't know. That's personally my take on it, and a lot of people, will find that weird and they'll find that wrong. But I want to be honest, bro. I'm completely fine like being single. And single doesn't even necessarily mean like not having like casual dating. It just means like not being married. But I'm completely fine like never getting married or being in a serious relationship unless a girl has no sexual history. I don't know. It's just like because I don't know. It's just a really big deal breaker for me in specific.
I sort of agree. I think if she had one or two bodies, it might not be the end of the world. But there are those statistics. It does depend. I don't know. I'm 20 years old. I got the next 10, 15 years to sort of experience. Even after that, like you'll see 60-year-old millionaires hanging out with hella 18-year-olds.
Bill Belichick.
Who's that?
The football coach for UNC that is 25-year-old.
Don't know him. I don't really follow football.
He's like 65. He was the coach for the Patriots, Tom Brady, and won.
Don't follow it at all.
Well, he's like 65 years old.
Yeah.
His girlfriend's like 25.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's the game. All right.
That is. You ready to go lift?
Yeah, bro. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I feel like this has been a pretty productive podcast. This podcast has been pretty wild.
Talking. I don't know. There's not a whole lot else to say. Like, if you want value, you have to be of value. Otherwise, what the fuck do you provide? Like, you don't want to be. You can't go after the model if you're just the broke dweeb who just smokes every night. Like, you got to have ambition. You have to have drive.
Bro, they'll date those guys.
No way, bro. No way. You're saying a model who makes like $2 million a year, like $10 million a year, is gonna date some broke retard who.
Hey man, maybe he incites her. Maybe he makes her feel a certain type of way. That's all it is about. It's just invoking emotion. Like I don't know, bro. Like I'll never be surprised by anything at all, bro.
I feel like that'd just be so out of the. Get your neurosurgeon wife and you're working at Popeyes.
Bro, you've been seeing those memes that be like, when I got promoted to assistant.
yeah. So my neurosurgeon wife can finally quit her job.
All right, so we talked about a bunch of stuff. What workout are we gonna do?
We're doing arms. I've been itching for the legit. I feel like a weird, not a weird lightheaded sensation. I'm just ready to go get the lift in. Hit shoulders, hit biceps, hit triceps.
You want streaming on kick?
Yeah, I'm down.
Right.
You wear headphones?
I can.
Do you usually?
In the gym?
Yeah.
Yeah, when I work out by myself. But... Yeah.
Word.
All right, bros.
All right.
So this ends the end of my podcast.
It's been pretty dope.
Yeah, that's been dope. Pretty fun.
That.